Hey everybody, today is Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. I'm Gene, and you're hanging with Uncle. Again, before we get started, because I think we have a lot to talk about today. Please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And also hit that like button. It kind of lets the rest of the world know that we exist out there. And if you like the content of the show, hit that notification bell on the right so you'll be notified whenever we go live or put new content out there. So, having said that, um, there's a couple of things on my mind. And again, this is from the point of view of someone who does not have much, who lives on a fixed income, and uh, is voting no party preference. I don't belong to any party. I'm not a sheep. I'm not a member of the club. So, what I have to say is just purely based on the issues and how I see them and what I think it means. But, of course, we really can't have this kind of conversation without our man on the street. So, Brent, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me again, Gene. I was looking forward to our next talk. A lot to talk about today, and we had some fun last time. So
Yeah.
let's just get right into it, man.
Okay, so I
A lot
think,
of
yeah, the big thing, the really big thing that I think really should not go overlooked, and it would help to peel back the onion a few layers to really understand what happened last night in the red state of Alabama. Okay, so in that election, Democrat Maryland Lands won the state house seat, flipping it from a Republican to Democrat, and but it wasn't even close. This is a solid red district, and she won by 27 points. Again,
Wow, that's incredible.
it really is, but it's on the issue of women's reproductive freedom. So again, Brent, I want to know your opinion because we've seen this happen in Kansas red state where the voters had a special election to codify Roe. We saw it in the
Yep.
red state of Kentucky. We saw it in the red state of Ohio. We saw it in Wisconsin, where the Democrats won a special election to fill the state Supreme Court seat, now held by a Democrat and not a Republican, based on the issue of women's reproductive freedom. So I just wonder, man, how come Republicans can't read a room? Why can't they see what the people want instead of still trying to ram this crap down our throats?
It's because it's the person leading the party, basically. And that so if you have if Trump is leading you into this great new beginning for the Christian people in America, you would think that he would. I mean, he's just manipulating it over and over again, and people are getting sick of it. They're seeing the stuff he's trying to hawk, and it's not making sense. And then Alabama went really the wrong way too. They went really extreme. Didn't they go to that first heartbeat or 2 weeks abortion, or is it even? It was even. I think they went for 2 weeks and they went down to zero
They have
first heartbeat or something.
they do have one of the most extreme abortion laws in the country. Um, but even when I look around the country and what's going on, um, people like Sherrod Brown, who's running for re-election in Ohio as a U.S. State or U.S. senator, and is running against Moreno, who is an election denying maggot, and running on an abortion ban. And we already know what the winning line is with women who own a majority of the population of this country. And I don't know why they just want to think they have power over everything and everyone when the people have spoken. And I just think what's going to happen in Alabama is going to happen in North Carolina in the governor's race. I think it's going to happen in Ohio in the Senate race. I think Ted Cruz is probably going to be out of a job, and Colin Allred will probably flip that seat blue, all based on women's reproductive freedom. Go ahead. That's just my
I mean, you
opinion.
knew it was going to be a hot button issue, and so what they're doing is they're kind of testing it too to see how far they could push it. They know they got an inroad when the Supreme Court made that awful decision, and they're trying to test it. You're basically red teaming to see how far they could take it, and then they'll adjust their plan as needed. But don't forget that their plan was to actually control you and everything that you do. So that's the main thing is people feel like the state of Alabama is exerting too much control over them, not just in like reproductive rights. So yeah, I don't know if you remember, there was a weird little House bill, Gene, back in 2015. It was like House Bill 1058 or something like that. What it did was it made illegals that came in to pick the crops out of farmers' crops illegal to come into their state briefly. I can't remember if it got rescinded right away or it was a couple years, but what happened was it happened right before harvest time. So there was full crops of food left on the vine and in the fields. And what it did is cause a lot of bankruptcies by farmers. So
Exactly.
basically, the Republican Party started going after everything, man. They started to push it too much. Do you
And
remember that?
I do. And honestly, Brent, just between you and me, and I guess it's now a good time to bring it out for everyone. The term illegals, it offends me because if you're coming here for the purpose of asylum or to seek
Yep.
refugee status or to seek citizenship in the United States, then you're here for a legal purpose. You're not illegal. What you are is undocumented.
Yeah, I mean, they used to call migrant workers, I think,
You know,
and then
and
they
I
started using other terms, and it was always wide open. People knew this happened every year, California, everywhere,
you
but
know
they started going after those farms and that property because
maybe
big farms started paying them.
maybe you
It
can
was a
help me
lot
out.
of things set up this election to collapse on them.
Maybe
Loserville,
maybe you can help me
right?
out, Brent. So whenever I hear, the talking point, well, they're coming here for our jobs. Maybe you can help me because every time I've asked this question, I've never gotten an answer. Are there any jobs that they have that you want?
Um, Probably I'm at no, not I'm at as a majority, no, and that's the problem is people don't understand that the reason why that border is open it's both a Republican thing and a Democratic thing saying they can't actually close it for whatever reason, but those workers are coming in. So when I live down in Tennessee, what they do is 30% of the workforce was probably white or some other color. The other 70% was actually a Mexican force. Probably because they came up from Alabama in 2015. I was down there in 2019, so it was packed, man. So what they do is they have somebody that has a social security number work them. So they're getting paid. They're paying for cheap labor in there, and Americans are getting rich off it.
So what's
So
happening is that the GOP has cut funding under Homeland Security so much, even though it's a program that they started under George W. Bush after 9/11. And if we had judges to progress migrant visa forms, we'd have plenty of legal people here to work the fields, like you said, as migrant workers. And I love it when my grapes cost 29 cents a pound instead of 2.29 a pound, you know?
yeah, exactly. When your available commodity shrinks because they're being left out in the fields, that increases your costs. The yield could still be there, but they understand that by cutting down the supply a little bit, that could go ahead and they could raise profits. And they have been having record profits in almost every corporation across the country because it's
Yeah.
hard to check in like inflationary tactics
But we're
when
getting
businesses start.
we're
But
getting
we're getting far.
we're getting off topic. Yeah, this is a this is
I love the economics. Sorry, man.
that's all right, man. But this has an economic consequence as well when we talk about women's reproductive rights and freedoms. And you've heard me say this before, and I hope that more people catch on. Is that women aren't chickens. They don't just lay eggs. They have to have the sperm of a man. So if we're going to really regulate life, life begins at ejaculation. How come? How come there's no protest outside urologist offices where men get vasectomies or Viagra or whatever else they need for their reproductive health? Why is it only women that are being subjected to this? And to me, I think that's the classic definition of discrimination.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, on that, they keep on using this word over and over again: DEI, 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 sustainability. But they started kind of taking over those words and changing the perception of what those mean. They're changing what DEI means now, basically, and they're doing it slowly through changing laws. So really, women were on a good path for equality, and then all of a sudden they're getting thrown back into the Stone Age.
Well,
I mean, for all the progress that we make as a society, we're basically judged on our children. So we need a healthy man and a healthy woman to go ahead and manage children, to go ahead and be productive members of society. It
well,
takes two. It takes two to produce.
I think
It takes two.
the big picture here is that when you put a woman in charge in a position of authority in the state house that actually has the power to vote to protect women's reproductive freedoms, I think that is the big picture. And that's what's going to happen all over the country in November if Republicans keep trying to push this nonsense of abortion bans.
Yeah, they got to go ahead and get off that. But if how it's working is, it's not going to happen. So you want to get into the next topic? Because this is going to be about Trump. We talked for about 3 minutes before the show started. We're basically getting so used to each other that we just know just to go and just see what happens now.
Yeah, but
So
anyway, yeah. So anyway, that's just my thing. I think, read the writing on the wall. Women are driving the vote for November, and the issue is keep your hands off my body. So wake up.
Yep.
Wake up. All right. So, yeah, I want to talk about the latest nonsense, just this tomfoolery that Cadet Bonespurs is pulling now by trying to grift off people by selling Bibles. And he's teamed up with Lee Greenwood, the guy who's known for Proud to Be an American, the only song he's ever sang for the past 30 years. And in this Bible, of course, are the lyrics to the song and the Constitution. And, for the low, low price of $59.99, you too can have a Trump Bible.
does that? So when you open up the front cover, does the song come on like a greeting card? Da, 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 da.
I bet if you pay more, they put it in there, no doubt.
And Gene, if I buy two copies, and I buy a pair of sneakers off them, do I bundle and save this way?
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Giving
Because he
people
needs money for his.
Yeah.
He needs money for his poor defense fund. That poor man.
He's spending.
Boy.
I think if memory serves me right, I think for the past 6 months, he's been spending about $90,000 a day on legal expenses, attorney fees, and filings, and you name it. And I think if people understood that he's stealing from them, he's lying to them about what he needs money for, please donate. And when they find out that they're being lied to, I know I would be pissed off if somebody was taking my money that was lying to me about why they needed it and what they were going to do with it.
Exactly. I mean, he did that with the wall. I mean, even though he wasn't directly involved, his little stooge did it.
Bannon.
The talk show guy.
And Bannon went to jail because he did the same thing. He scammed people,
Yep.
donate your money, I'm going to build a wall, and didn't do a damn thing but put it in his pocket.
So, if there is a separation between religion and government and state, what is he trying to do with this, you think?
He's trying to appeal to the evangelical voter to show, look, I'm just like you. We're on the same team,
Yep.
so support me and give me your money so I can continue to party off of you instead of spending my own money. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Is he, I wonder how he's doing it, huh? It seems like, so have you even read, if anybody read it? Is it actually the Bible, like the King James Bible, or is it like a cross between everything, trying to change your perception of what God is, you
Well,
think?
brother,
You
I can
know?
tell you that he says it's the King James Bible, but I will never open it to see anything that's in it because I'm not giving him any attention whatsoever.
Yeah, that's really tough. So, about, how I grew up and why I don't like Trump. I
Yeah.
mean, he came to my damn house. He had to come there to ask my grandfather about the casino that I'm getting in fucking Atlantic City. So we knew what he was doing. We didn't like it. We don't like people using prophecy and hearing that they're going to do it. And I knew this back in the '70s. Well, actually, by the '80s. I met Trump in the '70s when I was under 10. Knew exactly what he was doing and how they're going to develop him as a target and how they actually developed him. Because that's what we do is we develop our targets. So he got developed, and he really wanted to bring this whole like he's going to save the human race and help out with everything. And they knew that he was buying into it, that they could manipulate him too. Because
Oh
he was
yeah.
easily, he just thinks he's a god. So when you look at that cover, probably the back cover when they show Jesus, probably looks just like this dude. He probably thinks that he is actually a god. And so and then why is he doing it right now, Gene? This is the holy month about to start, the most holiest of time, and this is to me this is sacrilegious.
It's
I mean, this is
probably
beyond sacrilegious.
it's blasphemous to call,
Mm-hmm.
number one, calling himself a Christian, and we need to pray more. This coming from a dude who's committed fraud his whole life, is a chronic fraudster, has been found criminally and civilly uh, guilty for it, and he's going to preach to me about how to be a Christian and buy this Bible. It's blasphemous, dude. It's hypocritical.
Yeah, I whenever this time of year comes around, I get really I really think about some of the projects I got going on, and I see the evil that's in the world right now, and how man created that evil. What we think of evil is what man wrote down in some of those books and told us what evil is, and now they're recreating evil, I think, and trying to make a false sense of what good is, so that they basically trick you to do whatever you want. They're testing you, seeing if you want to shoot up Bud Light cans or not. These are all programming to see how
Yeah,
far along you are and how they could control you. Basically,
you
you're being
know,
manipulated. Yeah, I mean, some
personally,
people are in the cult. Is a cult of Donald Trump, basically.
personally, man, I'm a craft beer kind of person. I love a good IPA. I will not touch um, a Budweiser, a Coors, a Miller. not to talk bad about them, but I've acquired a taste for what beer is supposed to taste like, and
Yeah.
I'd have to be in the desert with nothing, and I'm dying of thirst to open a can of Budweiser.
What's funny is I went out to a microbrew yesterday, and some lady came up and wanted Bud Light or Coors Light. So the guy was trying to get her, the closest to water tasting beer out there. So she went through a few different selections, but that's another topic. Um,
Yeah.
so religion, is a tool that is wonderful to go ahead and unlock your your self-actualization, your higher power to connect with your spiritual self. But it could also be a tool that could manipulate you, that could go ahead and bring you to false prophets
You
and
know,
false light. And that's what I
it's
see projecting out is a false light of a man who's insecure.
oh, without a
That
doubt.
doesn't.
He's the biggest narcissist I think I've ever watched in my entire lifetime since I've been on the planet. And he's for real about it. I mean, Ali did it for show. That's not who he
Yeah.
was. It's just what he did to promote boxing. This guy is a narcissist, and he can't take a joke. It was at a correspondence dinner. Obama and Seth Meyers roasted him with some funny jokes, and it was after that he decided, okay, now I'm going to do it. I'm going to run for president now, and here we are. He could have continued to run his grift and stay a private citizen, but he let his ego, his narcissism, get the better of him, and here we are today. Going through what we're going through now.
Yeah, I mean, he's using obfuscation techniques to go ahead and confuse you between what is right and wrong. From him being a Democrat in the 2000s, 2001 to 9, I believe, and then him saying now he's a Republican, and then, oh, aren't those guys rhinos? And, oh, there's God, you got to believe in this, or, buy my Bible, all these things are, of course, him grifting, but he's projecting out a false sense. He's using techniques that we use for centuries. Basically, these are old tricks. So there's other people pulling his strings along, and he probably knows, somewhat. He is intelligent. But he's very demented intelligent.
Yeah.
It crossed a line that is that basically shouldn't be crossed. They kept on pumping him and building him up to make him feel like he's a god, and now this is happening, and it's just awful.
Well,
And that this,
the last thing I want to say, and then I'll give you the last word, is that I just can't believe how stupid people are to believe the shit that comes out of his mouth and buy into these things that will buy his NFTs and his shoes and his whatever it is he's going to be selling. Buy it hook, line, and sinker, and can't see for themselves the lies that he's telling you. And I just really I don't like paying attention to the polls now, because I think that's all just for media's sake, to drive up ratings, because I cannot see how, with all the baggage this idiot is carrying, how he stands any chance in November against Joe Biden. And, we got to have that separation of church and state. And if he wants to cross that line, that's just another reason I will not support him, and he will not get my vote. Brent?
yeah, the only thing I'm worried about with this election that could maybe flip it towards him would be if people don't understand if the economy crashes, why it did crash. To me, it's a two-party problem, but basically it was set because economies don't recover, and it's a long, slow train with destruction. It's like watching a slow moving train in a like accident.
Yeah.
This takes years for this economy to get to this point. And if it does crash here soon, which I'm really worried about, I want you to realize that this was probably done on purpose. And when who was involved in that, we're going to go ahead and figure out later. But there's some things that, of course, need to be done when as we move to digital currency. But that's a conversation for another time.
Right.
But man, thank you for having me, brother.
Yes.
You know, great show on that. I wish more people start to realize what we're trying to do for them.
Yeah.
We're
Amen.
really trying to get out a message of peace, make you think of things in a slightly different angle, maybe that you're taught or told constantly over and over again on TV. So maybe you want to change up your radio station. Maybe change up your TV station a little bit. Just try something new. Just see what the other side does. And then you're seeing what Democrats do, what Republicans do. Now you're understanding the whole game instead of understanding half the game. Use your brain. Try to don't follow the pack.
Amen.
All right, man. You have
All
a great
right,
night, brother.
You too, man. Thank you for joining us. Thank you again, Brent, for being on the show. That is all the time we have for tonight. I'm Gene. I just want to say, remember, please be kind to one another and treat each other the way you want to be treated. And hopefully this will be a much nicer and safer and civil place to live. Good night, everyone, and Zane and I will see you on Friday.